stress. This is supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun, but most things in life that are fun are not really that fun.
That's not true.
You know what's really fun? A McDonald's play place.
You don't believe in those, and I'm not going to let you turn around and pretend that you believe in them.
What do you mean that I don't believe in them? I know they exist, girl.
You were trying to convince me for years that they're illegal.
No, for years, we've been friends for a year and a half, but also, they are illegal.
No, they're not.
Baby.
They exist.
No, okay, I've told you, okay, my mother instilled a great fear in me that, maybe this is a Southern thing, fear. Fear is a Southern issue. My mother instilled a great fear in me that, the play places that are outdoors, right, the McDonald's play places, that snakes live in them.
You told me a child died in one, and they're all illegal, and they all got shut down. Yes, you did. And then I was like, dude, I know of one. And you were like, no. And then we saw one the other day, and you're like, I can't believe that. It's there. And I was like, they were never shut down.
Do you ever think that maybe they're breaking the law and they just don't care? That it might be against the law and that they're just breaking it?
I don't understand.
My problem with play places? Are they called play places?
Thing you do where you double down on a falsity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a personality disorder.
Right.
Okay, I have so much to tell you.
Please.
So I went to New York, right? Mm-hmm. And as we know, it was a tumultuous time for me.
Sure.
It was very, first of all, why when you're in New York are you always sweating? Always.
I've never been to New York.
Oh, that's right.
But I'm sweating no matter where I am.
Why when you're going to go to New York are you going to sweat?
It's the heat.
It's not the heat that gets you, it's the humidity.
It's a dry heat.
It's not, though.
It's a dry heat here.
It's a dry heat here, and it's a wet heat over there. It feels like you're walking around in somebody's mouth, but the person whose mouth you're in has, like, gingivitis, dirt. They ate dirt. They don't brush their teeth. Did I brush my teeth today?
I hope so.
So we're walking around in my mouth in New York. It's a great city. It's fun. There's a lot to do. But, like, I want to leave. I mean, I'm not there right now, but I want to leave.
Like, you're here. It's okay. New York can't hurt you.
It can't hurt me. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to tell you that I've been holding back on. I've been holding back on this. So I went out in New York when I was there. I went to this place called $3 Bill. It's in the middle of deep Brooklyn. Deep Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And they have, it's like in a warehouse or something. It's pretty cool. It's a big gay bar. It's like, they've got like a huge room. It's fun. I had a great time. And I went in drag. Okay? Mm-hmm. Show up in drag. First of all, it's just in a weird neighborhood. And living in LA, there's a certain comfort. There's a certain comfort about being able to be in drag, get in your car, go to the next club, go to somewhere else, right? And not have to worry about getting on the train, getting, like, you know, walking around in a bad neighborhood, right? Like, and maybe it's because I live here, but I don't know. So I show up, everybody's like, oh my God, you look good. I'm like meeting new friends, whatever. This guy comes up to me and he goes, he's so drunk. Later that night, he was throwing up in the bathroom.
Rookie.
Like, lucky? Did you say lucky?
Rookie.
Oh, rookie. So he goes, can I follow on your Instagram? I said, of course. And we were talking. Great guy. He was funny. Oh my God, she's licking my toes.
You put your toes out for her
listen,
to lick.
And he goes, I'm like, oh, are you a makeup artist? And he's like, yeah, I do drag too. But I didn't ask him his drag name, right? Okay. So we're talking or whatever, and I was like, what's your name? Can't remember his real name, but I remember he was like, my name is Will or whatever, right? Like, that's what we'll say it is. He goes, my name's Will, but all my friends call me Coochie.
Coochie, coochie, coo.
And I said, Coochie, like Coochie? And he goes, no, Coochie, Cooshi. And I went, but is it meant to sound like Coochie? And he went, yeah, but they call me Coochie. I went, okay. And he's like, yeah, my friends call me Coochie paralysis.
Oh, my.
And when I tell you that I looked at him and I went, that is one of the best names I've ever heard.
Did it paralyze your coochie?
It paralyzed, my coochie was shivering. Shivering Denzian. My coochie was a shivering Denzian. What's a Denzian, girl?
It's a denizen.
What's a denizen? And then we'll go back to what's a Denzian.
Well, Denzian's not real, and I believe a denizen is just a citizen.
Like a deacon.
I don't know what a deacon is. That's
Deacon?
like a part of a church.
Yeah. It's like the ushers. So what? Like elders, kind of.
I think a denizen is just a citizen.
Are you? Because it sounds like citizen.
No, because of the context clues.
So why are the
Well, it's definitely not Denzian, because that's not a real word.
I think a Denzian is like a demon.
I think that's a demon.
Yeah.
Denzian, noun. 1. A last name, and there are records of families with that surname in the United States, particularly in Ohio in 1920, according to Ancestry.com. 2. A brand name. Walmart carries Denzian jeans and clothing for various demographics, including men, women, kids, and plus sizes.
So that was in New York. I had a great time. I got a chopped cheese.
Now, what's a chopped cheese?
Do you know like what a Philly cheesesteak is?
So my understanding is that it's a sandwich.
Which one?
The Philly cheesesteak.
Because you can't go wrong because they're both sandwiches.
Okay, great. Dr. Sandwich.
Yes.
So I understand it's a sandwich that has like strips of steak and like peppers and cheese.
A Philly cheesesteak. You get the prize because that's exactly what a Philly cheesesteak is.
That I would throw in the garbage because that sounds disgusting.
Oh, it's delicious with Cheese Whiz. It's delicious.
Canned cheese.
A chopped cheese is very similar to that. And I'm not going to lie to you when I say I know what a chopped cheese is.
But you ate one.
I ate one.
What did you eat?
There's so many things that you've eaten that you don't know what's in them.
That's not true.
What's tofu?
Soybeans.
Different than soybeans I've seen. What happens?
Okay, so when you prepare a food, it looks different than when it's just pressed soybeans.
But why does it look like that?
Why does anything look like anything?
A lot of talent. That's why.
What, you think Cheese Whiz just grows out of the ground as a cheese
No,
whiz?
girl, I know it doesn't come in that beautiful can and doesn't taste naturally that good. I know it has to go through is tofu processed?
Well, processed in a way that it turns the bean into a brick of tofu.
Everything is technically processed. Like, everything is processed. It's a dialectic. Dialectical materialism, because everything must become something else.
Exactly. When we have a friend who we serendipitously ran into the other day in Los Feliz, and she used to live in New York and then spend time here, and I would always tell her, welcome back to America. For some reason, I think perhaps it's because I've never been, like, the way my mind categorizes New York is like that it's not in America.
Girl, when I first moved to LA, I was like, I knew I was in America. I wasn't under the delusion that they just forgot to check my passport. I didn't have a passport when I moved here, so they either committed a great fraud or they just let me in.
Put a pin in that.
Great fraud?
Yes.
Okay. When I first moved to LA, I grew up on the East Coast, so it's very different. I was like, this is a different country. Like, it feels like a different country. I mean, the realization that, like, Mexico's right there was, like, a shocker to me. Because I always thought, like, a different country was far away. Like, Canada's far away, Mexico's far away. But Canada's right... I mean, Mexico is right there. So, and also it's, like, it's just different from where I grew up. It's different than other parts of America. Like, it's, like, what? Like, 70% of the population of the Denzians here speak Spanish. And the architecture's different. The climate's different.
The architecture speaks Spanish.
Girl, you still don't know what Adobe is, do you?
When did I not know what Adobe was?
That was not you. That was someone else. I was down in the desert and I went, look at these beautiful Adobe houses. And she went, what? That's Adobe? And I went, yeah, it's a style of architecture. And I think she was like, I thought it was just a program. And she was like, I thought the houses were named after the program.
It's interesting. See, I grew up in Southern California, so I'm very familiar.
You grew up in an Adobe house.
I did not.
You grew up in Photoshop, girl.
I did.
Wait, can I take a guess on who you're going to talk about? Is it that guy Klaus, that singer?
Santa Claus?
No, not...
Santa Claus? Sinterklaas?
Santa Claus. No, not Santa. Not good old Saint Nick. Capote.
Didn't love it. Tell me.
Oh, well, I like it because, well, I hate Truman Capote. You know this. I don't like Truman Capote. I read In Cold Blood right when I moved to Los Angeles. I just think he's kind of like he's, annoying. He's annoying, and, like, I think there are so many more, like, growing up, so many more gay icons that I flocked to. Tennessee Williams, like, William Faulkner, even though he wasn't gay, he, like, chronicled New Orleans' homosexual life. I just thought he was so much of, like, a cat. You know what I mean? Like
Jellicle cat.
like a jellicle cat. He just like the way he treated the women was kind of annoying. He just like the way he treated Harper Lee was annoying. I
Yeah.
mean, I do see a lot of similarities with him. I love the quote that he says, "Every year that one spends on the West Coast, one loses a clump of brain cells," and he died on the West Coast. So I think that's really funny. I love the movie though. What did you think of the romance between him and the prisoner?
The prisoner?
Who was played by what? Liam Neeson?
No.
Who played the prisoner?
Not Liam Neeson.
Oh, sorry, that was Taken.
Right.
Tooken.
Tooken too. Don't even know that person's name. But it definitely wasn't Hand of God. It was
not Liam Neeson. I swear to God, I'm gonna die on this. That's a hill, and I'm going
That
up
is
on
a
it,
hill.
and I better die on it.
Yeah, no, I thought like it's an interesting story. I don't know why I didn't jive with it.
I mean, it's kind of like it's a little boring because like he's better. He's a better writer than
I think
he
I
is.
kind of get like hung up on like I had the same feelings about Last Showgirl where it's like the
Yeah.
content is so rich that like you could have done it like so well, and I just
Done
feel like,
more.
but it like got all kinds of awards. It could have been me. I could be the problem.
Sandra Bullock played Harper Lee, didn't she?
No. What version did you see? Maybe the version you saw is really good.
Capote with Philip Sophomore Hyman.
Yes.
Sandra Bullock played Harper Lee, and the prisoner was played by Liam Neeson. I swear to God.
Should we look it up?
Yes. Hold on. No, the guy who plays. Okay. I want you to follow me. It was called Infamous, which is also about Truman Capote.
Okay.
It was not Capote. I have seen Capote. I don't think I like it. I'm going to side with you now. Now that when new information is presented, I'm going to side with you.
You can change your mind.
So, Daniel Craig plays the prisoner.
Okay.
Do you see where I went with that?
Yeah.
Daniel Craig of the James Bond movies.
Sure.
He played the prisoner that fell in love with Truman Capote. Mr. Capote. My name is Mr. Capote. You want to tell me more about Capote? Have you seen that interview? Did you watch that interview I told you about with him?
Mm-mm.
He's on the Johnny Carson show, and they're like, he's like acting drunk, and they're like, "Are you drunk?" And he goes, "No, why would you think that?" And they're like, "Well, you're acting weird." And they're like, "Do you have a problem?" And he goes, "Well, obviously, if I continue at the pace I'm going at, I'll kill myself without meaning to." Sorry to dampen the mood a little, but it was a great interview. And then he did die.
He did die.
He's buried in Westwood.
So we watched two different
We
movies.
watched two
We
different
have two
movies.
different movies.
Yeah, god damn it.
Okay, then I watched. So this is while you were in New York, so I was very bored and had a lot of solitary time. I watched a masterpiece written by, directed by, starring none other
Truman Capote.
Steve Buscemi.
Oh my god, what is your obsession? You were really
I've always
going...
been
obsessioned
with Steve Buscemi, and my mom, when I like told her I was in high school, I was like, I think he's so hot, and she was like, you can never tell anyone that.
And she was right.
I literally think he's so hot, like perfect man. It's so good.
He looks like a bird.
He's
girl.
so hot. Stop it. He's so hot, and Carol Kane is in it. Fucking Michael Imperioli's in it. Artie Bucco, who I don't know his real name. You don't like The Sopranos, but you
Artie
should.
Bucco.
Artie Bucco is the Sopranos character.
Yeah, he
owns
is.
Vesuvius.
He's more of an alto, but yeah.
Right. Crazy cast, crazy film. Fucking Steve Buscemi gets entangled with a high school student
Ooh.
played by Chloe Sevigny. Right.
Really?
Yes, it's so good. And then I like,
Ooh.
you haven't seen Ghost World, which is in my Letterboxd top
Is that
4.
the one with Whoopi Goldberg?
No,
What's that
I
one?
don't know.
Whoopi Goldberg, where she goes, "You're in danger, girl." What
I
is
don't
that one?
know.
Whoopi
I love when
Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg's like, I don't want a man in my house, and that's why she's not married.
That's not what I love that quote. Did you know she's also deathly or deafly? Deft. Is she deft? Does Whoopi Goldberg fall on deaf ears? Whoopi Goldberg is
You know she has an EGOT?
right. Yeah. Oh, I did know that, girl. Sister Act. Oh, I knew everything about
What
Whoopi
does she
Goldberg.
have a Tony for?
While you were eating cough drops, I was obsessing.
Studying the Whoopi Goldberg?
She has a Tony for The Color Purple.
Ah,
Yeah, she's an EGOT girl.
that's crazy.
I know everything about her. Did you know that? Oh my God, Sister Act. Love that movie. I was obsessed with that movie. That's how I knew I was gay. Most men have their gay awakening with like Madonna, Cher. No, mine was Whoopi Goldberg. Friend of the pod, Whoopi Goldberg.
Friend of the pod. This podcast is sponsored by Whoopi Goldberg's EGOT. So Ghost World also involves Steve Buscemi becoming entangled with a fucked up high school student. I'm like, I wish I was a fucked up high school student. Anyway,
In a different life.
Fantastic. 5 stars. There's
Wait,
something else.
Can I tell you something real quick?
Please.
Whoopi Goldberg, infamously afraid of planes. When she goes on tour and does stuff, she won't fly on a plane. She has a tour bus that she drives around America. She will not go on a plane. I just wanted to tell you that.
That's a lot of people are afraid of flying.
But they just don't have the means to get a bus.
Like, get on this train. You don't have to run.
Yeah.
The last thing I watched,
Yeah.
Panic in Needle Park.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about this.
Because I'm reading Diddy and Babbitts, and I've always wanted to see it. And we did discuss this, that if Al Pacino in 1973 knocked on that door and said, I need you to shoot heroin for me, I'd say, yes, sir.
Only in 1973, though.
Oh.
You're a different person now.
So good. I lost it. I was crying.
In 1973, you were a different person.
I literally was.
It's Romeo and Juliet, but for
my
junkies.
mother wasn't even born.
In Needle Park?
It's not Romeo and Juliet for junkies. I hate that characterization.
Well, I didn't say it.
I know.
I didn't call you up on the phone
that.
afterwards. You resent something that I said to you.
Yes.
Is it a lot? Okay, so I haven't seen it at all. Is it a lot like what's that one that was not written by Dennis Johnson? That book.
A Queen for a Dream.
Yeah, is it kind of like that?
Hubert Selby Jr. No, I mean, yes, in that there's a couple and they're on heroin, but
Yeah.
I feel like I've said this like very, very much a lot, where I feel like there's a lot of bad art about being on drugs, and I feel like the mystique around heroin has like created a lot of bad art, but I feel like those two are really good. I feel like Train Spotting is really good. Because there is like something very specific about like the depths of heroin addiction, and I think all 3 of those are really good at it. And I think there's most art about heroin addiction isn't that good.
Yeah.
But I'm biased.
You're having
obviously.
me read Jesus' Son right now by Dennis Johnson, so.
That's like when I love somebody, I give them that book because it's like, this is like this is so gay. This
Girl,
is
we're
like,
not dating.
We're not dating, but like I've given it to a lot of our friends where it's just like, this is like, it was really seminal for me in my life.
You know, you wrote a prologue in the beginning for me when you gave me the book.
Did I?
You did write something in it, and I read it the other day, and it was like, this has helped me through so many hard times. I hope it can be of service or use to you as well.
It really, there's something, like we've talked about this a lot, where it's like, you know, when I read Play It As It Lays, or when I started listening to The Smiths, like when I farted listening to The Smiths.
I literally thought that you were gonna say that when I farted listening to The Smiths.
That happens all the time because I'm always listening to The Smiths.
It's like a gas eggs.
There's this thing that happens with art for me.
With fart.
With fart for me, where it was just like, oh, you feel like this too, and I feel like that is really the driving mechanism of art, and like what I hope that I can create someday.
I mean, I get it. My thing wasn't through music, though. It was through movies, where I was like, not so much like there was somebody that's different or weird as me, because I was under the delusion that no one was like me. I'm still under that delusion. But that there was an escape, right? My first addiction was fantasy. My first addiction was cough drops. But it's kind of the same. Like, I understand that. That's why that's the thing is, like, with a book, I think people have lost it. Where, like, no, when I read a book, I want to be transported. I want to be transported. When I watch a movie, I want to be transported. And, like, Yeah, there's a certain level of like when we read stuff that we know about, we're like, that's not how it actually is,
Mm.
which sucks because you have to pander to an audience but still make it believable. You know what I
What are
mean?
you arguing right now? I forgot.
Sometimes I don't know what I'm just saying. I don't know
You
my
just hope you end up
I just hope I
there.
end up there. I don't know where a sentence is going. I just hope it ends with a period. But it usually ends with a question
Period,
mark.
mama.
Don't put a question mark where God put a period.
Should we get into it?
Yeah,
Should we get
I'm
into it?
really excited. What's your topic this week?
Okay, well, what do you... Hmm. Okay, first of all, do you know who Bud Dwyer is?
I've heard the name. I don't know nothing about Mr. I don't.
Thank God you know nothing because I am about to tell you everything.
Okay, I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Do you know what racketeering is?
Oh, is this why you wanted me to put a pin in Big Fraud?
Yes.
And okay, yeah, racketeering. It's like you're committing fraud, right?
Okay. I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay.
Okay. Robert Bud Dwyer. Bud with two D's. Bud.
Yeah.
Bud Ombudsman.
The University Ombudsman.
Robert Bud Dwyer.
Okay.
Born 1939
Okay.
in Missouri.
Okay. Not
Died
the South.
January 22nd, 1987
Okay.
in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Okay. This is a quick overview, and then we're going to get into it.
Give me the
all
Wikipedia
way.
page. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Republican representative for the Pennsylvania House of Representatives from 1965 to 1971.
Okay.
Then he was a senator for Pennsylvania from 71 to 81.
Okay.
Then, on January 20th of 1981, he was, what is it called? Appointed. The 70th treasurer of the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So from 1981, January 20th, 1981, until January 22nd of 87. So like almost 6 years to the day. And he died on January 22nd, 1987.
While he was in office. While he was an ombudsman.
Sort of.
Oh.
In 1986, he was convicted and found guilty on 11 counts of conspiracy, mail fraud, perjury.
He was frauding mails?
Yeah, if it was woman fraud, we wouldn't know his name.
Truman Capote.
Perjury, and this is a crazy charge that I didn't know exists. Interstate transportation in aid of racketeering.
Yeah, that is, it's a federal crime.
In aid of racketeering. I still don't know exactly what he was transporting.
Was it drugs?
No.
I mean, I do know that if you transport something across state lines, humans, drugs, or anything, it has to be declared.
Big three: humans, drugs, anything.
And anything.
Nothing's affected me more in my life than humans, drugs, and anything.
I love a holy trinity: Father, Son, Holy Spirit, alcohol, beer, cigarettes, and
drugs, anything.
Love a holy trinity.
Okay, so he was sentenced. He was set to be sentenced on January 23rd of 1987. He died on January 22nd, 1987. Okay. Do you know whose birthday is January 22nd? It's this one.
Oh my God!
Welcome back,
so
Bud
cute.
Dwyer.
Okay.
Welcome back, Bud Dwyer.
She's racketeering, girl.
She's transporting.
She hasn't even been out of the state yet.
Okay, so he was born in 1939 in St. Charles, Missouri. Okay. Which
is not the South.
You can die on. That's a hill.
That's a hill.
1961, he receives. He
was in Reseda.
He earns his BA in poli-sci and accounting from Allegheny College in Pennsylvania.
Red flag.
Okay, so he relocates to Pennsylvania. 1963, he gets a master's degree. I want you to guess in what?
So he got it originally in poli-sci and accounting, you said?
Mm-hmm.
A master's degree. Well, you can't get a degree in racketeering, so I'm going to go creative writing.
Education.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So then after this, he has a master's in education. So what does he start doing? He starts teaching social studies and coaching football.
Okay, yeah.
In a high school in Pennsylvania, in Cambridge Springs.
Okay.
So then he's like, you know what? It's funny when I'm reading about it, the Wikipedia article's like, as a Republican, he became interested in politics. And I was like...
one precedes the other.
Is that the natural order of things?
You come out of the womb, you go, wah, I'm a Republican, and then they go, he's probably not going to get into politics. And then what happens?
When he was coaching football, and he was like, you know what, I have a bigger dream.
I want to be a football.
I
prefer my balls round.
So, again, 1963, he gets his master's. He's only teaching and coaching for a year.
Okay.
Then he's elected to the Pennsylvania House of Representatives in 1964.
Okay. Yeah.
He's reelected in 66. He's reelected again in 68.
Okay.
In 1970, he decides to campaign to become a senator. He wins.
Yeah.
71, he's sworn in. 74 and 78, he's reelected as a senator, right? 1980, he campaigns for and wins the office of Pennsylvania Treasurer,
Yeah.
the 70th one.
I didn't know that was one you could run for, but
Right. So, here's where we get into the mess of it all.
okay.
From 79 to 81, so prior to his appointment to treasurer,
Okay.
they okay, so the public employees of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
It is a Commonwealth. Good job.
they'd overpaid millions of dollars in FICA taxes. Don't ask me what the fuck FICA stands for because I can't remember.
Okay.
Which required the state to
How do they overpay?
overpay taxes. I don't know. It was just like an accounting error.
What in the world?
So
When I
this-
do my taxes, they're literally, I'm like, hey, how much do I owe? They're like, you have to guess. And
Well,
I'm like,
TurboTax didn't exist in 1979.
I guess it was Bud Dwyer.
Okay, but this is where this is the meat and the potatoes of mister
Uh-huh.
Dwyer. Okay, so the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania had overpaid millions in like federal taxes,
Okay.
so that required the state to get an accounting company to determine the refunds for its employees. So basically, the state overpaid taxes on behalf of state employees.
Okay.
So there was a refund requisite, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
Coming from the state.
exactly.
So it's
they're
like
state employees.
so the state overpaid, and then it's like we need the money back from ourselves.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, state, federal. So the taxes
Oh,
were federal.
okay.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Dwyer now in 81
Mhm.
is the treasurer. So
Okay.
he's in charge of delegating an accounting company to determine how much taxes should be. And it's this huge contract.
TurboTax.
Exactly. It's a $4.6 million no bid contract that Dwyer awards
Normal bets.
to a California-based company
Okay.
called Computer Technical Associates.
Okay.
Owned, and again, California-based, but it's owned by this guy named John Torquato.
Okay.
John Torquato
Tomato,
Jr.
tomato, turquado.
John Torquato Jr. And he's a Pennsylvania native. He's from Harrisburg. So on May 10th of 1984, no
Uh-huh.
bid contract, $4.6 million
Okay.
given to CTA, Comptex Associates.
Uh-huh.
And so that, I mean, $4.6 million is a lot now. And in 1984, it's a lot more.
It was a lot, yeah.
I have some inflation math that I'm going to talk about later.
Okay.
So in early 1984, right after this contract is awarded by the Pennsylvania State Treasurer, Mr. Dwyer,
Yeah.
this man who's the Deputy Comptroller of Pittsburgh Public Schools.
Love that title. I don't know what a
His
comptroller
name,
is.
I have no idea what the fuck a comptroller is. And why he needs a deputy.
Comptroller.
This comptroller ain't big enough for the two of us.
He comps people. You know, he's kind of like a bouncer, but
it's
for the government.
for the Pittsburgh Public Schools. I'm like, I don't know. I've heard of deputy comptrollers.
You've
Wouldn't
heard
it be
of-
cool if we weren't idiots?
Yeah, we.
And I had all this time to research, and I was like, he'll know what a fucking comptroller is.
No, girl, I don't know what a I mean, it's like an omnibus, but okay. I think a comptroller is like an overseer. It's like an It's an undertaker, but an overtaker.
Okay.
He undertakes
So-
and overtakes.
And I was confused as to like why this guy's ears are perking up when he's working for public schools. But I guess the treasurer, a lot of a state's treasury, there's a lot of allocations toward education is where I went.
You're talking about Mr. Comptroller.
Well, why the comptroller
Mr.
even noticed
Bombastic
this?
in the I mean, when your ears perk up, they perk up, girl.
So in 1984, Deputy Comptroller of Pittsburgh Public Schools, his name is Dennis Schatzman.
Shotsman. Damn, these
Schatzman.
people's names we got. Tracheectomy. What was his name?
Torquato.
Torquato.
So Mr. Schatzman, Mr. Comptroller,
Uh-huh.
Mr. Comptroller Deputy, he notices some discrepancies in the CTA contract that Bud Dwyer had just given to his buddy old pal Torquato. He notifies school officials.
Okay.
So then
Like the principal?
right?
He gets called into the principal's office. He goes into
Straight to the principal.
Do you have a hall pass?
So Schatzman then contacts a third-party accounting firm establishment.
Okay. Yeah.
What later becomes Ernst and Young. You're not familiar?
Mm-mm.
Whatever. Big deal.
I don't do my tax. I do my taxes very well.
Joke. So this guy at Ernst and Young, on behalf of Schatzman, goes, "Yeah, you know what? This contract overpriced by millions of dollars."
Okay. By $4.6 million.
So, in June of 1984,
Okay.
the Auditor General of Pennsylvania.
Damn, they've got a lot of titles that I don't know about.
Titles you wouldn't even believe.
We got comptroller.
We got titles. We're up to our ears
Torquato.
in tiles.
Tiles.
I've tiled this wall.
I've tiled this whole state with titles.
He notifies the fucking FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
The famous.
So that's in June 1984. July 1984, this woman, Janice Kincaid. Not Jamaica Kincaid, the author.
Oh. Okay.
She used to work at CTA.
I'll just sit down for a minute.
She used to work at CTA,
Okay.
Torquato's firm, right?
Uh-huh.
She comes forward. She comes farts.
She used to throw lips on the dick. Now I'm just afraid of the shit. No, I'm not afraid of it.
I'm scared.
I'm scared. Used to throw lips on the shit. Now I'm not afraid of the dick. Kincaid.
Miss Kincaid.
Alice Kincaid.
Oh, it's Jamaica Kincaid.
Okay, go on.
Janice Kincaid.
Janice Kincaid.
Releases a sworn statement claiming that Bud Dwyer awarded CTA the contract with the promise of a $300,000 kickback.
Okay.
So $300,000 in 1984 is equivalent to $923,000 American dollars in 2025.
Yeah.
That's $1 million.
That's
right?
a lot. Yeah, that's a lot
of money for him.
Yeah.
Miss Kincaid also alleges that Torquato directed the female employees of CTA to provide sexual favors to potential clients of CTA. So when Bud Dwyer learns that this is being investigated by federal prosecutors, he pulls the contract out in July of 1984. This is right after Kincaid comes forward. He's just kidding. I'm not giving you that contract
covering
anymore.
His booty.
Low-key booty. So he tries to stall. He's telling everyone who works beneath him, all his staffers, he's like, "Oh, just give them the runaround," and he's grasping at straws. Okay. He's nevertheless indicted by a federal grand jury charged with agreeing to receive the kickback in exchange for the contract being awarded to CTA. Okay. This is interesting, and what I love about our character today, Bud Dwyer, is that he is a fucking drama queen. And when I get to the end of this story, like, it's really something that I find admirable. I think the depths that this man went to publicly be a fucking psycho is awesome.
Did he wear a tuxedo?
He wore a suit, but like, I couldn't find a suit.
Okay.
So I put my tuxedo
They don't
on.
sell them anymore.
I put my tuxedo
That was
on.
1981.
I didn't want to look like Fran Lebowitz, so I just put on my tuxedo t-shirt. So, crazy, grasping at straws. Dwyer goes, "Hey, listen, grand jury.
Yeah.
I'll take a polygraph, but the condition
Which we know
is,
means nothing.
And the condition is, if I pass this polygraph, you can't indict me." And they're like, "No."
That's
no
that's
thanks.
like that's
like, you don't make the rules here. And this is Bud Dwyer is someone who went to the grave making his own rules. Okay.
I've heard that phrase before. I think I might know about this.
October of 1984, Torquato and his team are indicted.
Okay. Of CTA.
And he maintains that there was no collusion, no racketeering, no rackets here.
Okay.
So, Bud Dwyer, again, we're still in 1984. He's maintaining that his task force told him that he had to grant the contract to CTA.
Yeah.
And whatever. Okay, so he's indicted by the federal jury in 84. Now it's December 86. Dwyer's found guilty. He's on these 11 counts of conspiracy, female fraud, perjury, interstate transport in aid of racketeering.
He was transporting women, humans,
children,
drugs, and anything.
The sentence.
Can I guess it?
Yeah.
Like 5 life sentence.
Up to 55 years in prison.
Okay.
And a $300,000 fine.
Damn.
And if you remember, $300,000 is
is
the kickback that he
oh,
was supposed to receive, right?
Oh, damn.
So after the verdict, Dwyer says, "This is a sad and shocking day for me. Totally unbelievable. I'm totally innocent of all these charges, and I don't know how this could have happened. Again,
Me when I'm in the Target line scanning a mattress for the price of a loaf of bread.
I'm totally innocent of all these charges. I don't know how this could have happened.
This is a sad day
honey,
for
you
me.
set the ball rolling.
Yeah. And he was a football coach.
Literally. So per Pennsylvania state law, Dwyer can't officially be dismissed from his office as treasurer until he's sentenced. He's set to be sentenced in January of 1987, okay? So he continues working as the treasurer of the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Takes a leave of absence for no pay. And he's very, I'm shouting all of these things, look at what I'm doing.
He sounds like Henry, All the King's Men. Henry Longfish. He was like the governor of Louisiana, where he was just like a populist, but he was just like, he was known for like, and people were like, yes, of course, but he was just a loudmouth. Is that kind of him? It's
honestly giving personality disorder. Is what it's giving.
It's giving Wolf of Wall Street too.
I famously haven't seen that.
Fran Lebowitz is in it.
Ooh,
yeah.
Now I want to watch.
She plays a judge.
Leave of absence, no pay.
Leave of absence.
Refusing to resign until he has had the opportunity to appeal his conviction. Okay. December 23rd, that's 2 days before Christmas in 1986. Okay. Dwyer, he says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write the president. He says, I'm going to write Ronald Reagan himself.
The president?
He's asking for a presidential pardon.
He won't get it. He's dead. He won't get it yet. He won't get it for a while.
You can't write a letter to Ronald Reagan. He won't get it.
He won't get it.
So he's asking for a presidential pardon. Basically, my understanding is that Reagan's like, no thanks. Like, I'm just going to ignore that. That's weird. Okay. On January, so that's December 23rd of 1986. January 22nd of 1987, Mr. Dwyer's like, I'm going to hold a press conference. And
wait, isn't that the day he dies?
I'm going to hold a press conference. And his lawyer, Paul Killian, he asks his wife, Joanne Dwyer, do you think your man is capable of hurting himself? And Joanne says, Dwyer loves his life so much. So in the press conference, he has a 20-page document that he hands out to everybody, right? All his staffers have copies. Everyone at the press conference has a copy. There's reporters. 20 pages is a lot of pages. His copy, we find out later,
I've heard of this,
has 21 pages. And there's people leaving. The reporters are like, good God, man, you're reading us fucking...
a story, a Bible.
The Odyssey is happening right now. Like, I gotta pee.
The Trojan horse is at the gate.
Literally, he's like, God, so people are leaving. And they're like, this is weird. They're like, this is crazy that he's dying on this hill. We know you fucking racketeered. Just like, resign, dog. What are you doing? Yeah. So he hands out 3 envelopes to his staffers. Okay. One envelope contains a letter to the governor at the time, the governor of Pennsylvania, Bob Casey. Okay. The second letter he hands is for the deputy press secretary, and it contains an organ donor card. The third is for the deputy treasurer, which contains letters, envelopes just like this one, contains letters for his wife and 3 children.
Okay.
As well as funeral arrangements. The 4th envelope, actually, before we get into the 4th envelope, I'm going to read an excerpt from that 20-page fucking epic, okay?
I'm so excited.
I've repeatedly said that I'm not going to resign as state treasurer. After many hours of thought and meditation, I've made a decision that should not be an example to anyone because it is unique to my situation. Last May, I told you, literally, last May, I told you that after the trial, I would give you the story of the decade. To those of you who are shallow, the events of this morning will be that story. But to those of you with depth and concern, the real story will be what I hope and pray results from this morning. In the coming months and years, the development of a true justice system here in the United States. I'm going to die in office in an effort to see if the shameful facts spread out in all their shame will not burn through our civic shamelessness and set fire to American pride. Please tell my story on every radio and television station and in every newspaper and magazine in the U.S. Please leave immediately if you have a weak stomach or mind, since I don't want to cause physical or mental distress. Joanne, Rob, Dee Dee, I love you. Thank you for making my life so happy. Goodbye to all on the count of 3. Please make sure that the sacrifice of my life is not in vain. The fourth envelope contains nothing other than a Model 19 357 Magnum revolver. He backs up against the wall and says, please leave the room if you will, if this will affect you. And this is what happens. He shoots himself in the press conference.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
What a diva. What a diva. First of all, and he dies.
Yeah.
On that day.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world? Great picture.
I know. It's on a lot of like punk t-shirts. That's how I knew about who he was growing up.
Holy shit. Mm-hmm. He knew he was wrong. He just didn't want to fess up to it.
He was going to die on a hill. And it's like that to me. I mean, we're armchair
The thing about gay people, we get to choose our family. We write our own stories.
We're armchair diagnosing now. But like that, like, again, I'm going to run this delusion to the ground till the wheels fucking fall off. And I'm punishing every single person. They have footage of him blowing his brains out. And they
Did you watch
chose
it?
not to. I watched it growing up. That's what our friend says. I remember that video. And he says, I wish I never watched it. And that's what you caught.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I watched it growing up, and I was like,
they had footage, so this was like televised.
So they didn't run the footage, and I don't think any of it was live, but the footage exists. I've seen it. And what you can't see, like, there's no like brain matter or anything, but you see him pull the trigger and then he falls.
Holy.
But, yeah, again, and it's like the other part that's like so personality disorder is that like you know that tweet that's like, what are you doing on our first date or whatever? And she's like, burgers. She's like, killing myself in front of you, forever altering the course of your life.
Yes,
like,
that's it.
Fucked up all of those people.
Yeah, don't leave if you have a weak stomach. Like, leave if you don't want to see me kill myself. Also, the fact that he planned it out so meticulously. Did no one... Okay, where was the comptroller at this point? Did no one pick up on the fact of, like, even his wife, my husband loves his life so much?
And that's the thing. So the lawyer, Paul Killian, was like... It's because he's like... Dwyer's like...
He seemed like he had an inkling that something was going to happen.
Dwyer on, like, the 15th... So, again, he dies on the 22nd. On the 15th, Dwyer calls Killian, and he's like, I want to... press conference, I'm going to clear my name. And the lawyer's like, hey, that's like not super in your best interest. Like, here's the facts as I see them. Why don't you say this during your... And he's being like kind of like off the rails. And so that's why he asks the wife, like, hey, do you think he's capable of hurting himself? And she's like, no, he loves his life so much.
Yeah. I do have a couple things to say. First of all, I need to talk about this picture. First of all, if you're going to shoot yourself in the mouth, that's not how you do it.
He did it. It worked.
I mean, it worked, girl, but like, like, this is how I grabbed that vape earlier. Mm-hmm. Like, I like twisted around. He literally is like, first of all, looks like he's a soprano. Like, he's like, like singing. That's a crazy way to grab a gun. Did he, so that was his final statement ever in life. That's crazy. What did Ronald Reagan say? Was Ronald Reagan like, crap, I wish I would have said it.
What's also crazy, this is just a tidbit that I probably should have written down, but he writes his final like press release is addressed to Joe Biden, who was a senator at the time. Yeah.
From Delaware. From Delaware. Mm-hmm. No way.
And posthumously, his family and his lawyer tries to get the charges excused, and they're like, no. Like, he fucking did this. Yeah.
So after he's dead,
yeah, they're like, Paul Killian's a real one. He was the only one that saw it coming. Yeah, and then in death tried to clear his name, and the judge was like, no.
This reminds me a lot of the Murdoch murders. where he's just like he's like lying to everyone. The only one that believes him is his lawyer, and he's just like building the self up for him, personality disorder, like just building up, and it's like, bro, you put yourself in this position, like you knew what you were doing, and it's like no one believes you, and now no one like. You're not seen. I'm not a victim, but I should
guilty.
be.
Like I didn't do this, but I'm gonna kill myself so I don't have to go to prison.
Exactly. I didn't do this, but I'm gonna punish myself for it. I love this picture.
I know.
It's such a
put it on my
punk
fridge.
picture. Yeah. Oh, you're taking it?
Oh, you can have it.
I mean,
You can have it. Put it on the altar.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. When you said Bud Dwyer, I knew that name. I didn't know where I knew it from. I've heard of this story. I haven't seen the footage.
We can watch offline.
You know I'm gonna watch it. And we don't condone if anybody in a public office, comptroller, omnibud person, president, if you're in public office, we do not condone you shooting yourself. Also, just don't transport humans. Don't racketeer. Don't transport humans, drugs, or anything over state lines.
It's also funny because like the mythos around it, like I thought it was like mafia ties because like you hear racketeering and stuff like that, and it's like literally he just wanted
more
$1 million.
Yeah, he just wanted more money, and then he had to pay it up. That's crazy. I love that story.
Wasn't that great?
That is. Damn.
That was the first person when we decided to do this kind of.
What made you think of him?
I've always thought he was great. Like,
I've always thought he was a stellar
iconic.
man. No, it is.
Like,
it is.
And it's something that it's like, it just really speaks to, I think, like, to American greed and what is so inherent to our system with public officials in that capacity. And it's like, he shouldn't have been able to grant the no bid contract. Like, I mean, I guess he could, but it's like, it speaks to the flaws of human, and like hubris. And like, at the end of the day, he wanted $1 million and was willing to die for it.
And the fact of the matter is like, it still happens. Do people in your life, like your parents, any of your family, anybody that's like around that age, do they remember that happening?
So my parents were like, my mom would have been 12, my dad would have been like 15. The only people I know who know about it are like weirdos like me that like saw the video because like.
I just wondered.
But I mean, it's part of like, obviously he wrote to Reagan, he wrote to Biden, he was a public official.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like I think.
And I think when I brought it up to my parents, they said I remember that.
Oh wow.
They didn't know his name though.
Wow, it's just like the imprint it must have had on people's minds. Oh, wow. Wow, that's a great story. Thank you for telling me that.
Thanks for listening.
Oh, my gosh. I love it. Well, is that our episode for today?
I think we did it.
We did it, right? Thanks for listening.
Tuned.
Stay tuned. Next week, we have a new topic. I don't know what I'm doing yet. But I'll find you a good one.
We know the same amount of information.
We do. The listeners at home and the 2 co-hosts know the same amount of information, which is absolutely nothing.
Co-hosts.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about the mascot. Little Missoula. Okay. Good?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.